SNS Cricket Diaries live show a review of the third day's play of the fourth test match between India and Australia in the ongoing Border Gavaskar Trophy series. And again, a brilliant day's play, a fight back which very few expected by the Indian team, but something that the Indian team has shown time and time again, their ability to bounce back from adverse circumstances. It was clearly shown today with Nitish Kumar Reddy scoring a brilliant century, his first test match century ever. I mean, this kid has been a find of the tour so far, easily amongst one of the most positive aspects of Indian cricket to come out, apart from Yashasvi Jaiswal in this series, has been Nitish Kumar Reddy. And once again, in the company of Washington Sundar, who again has shown his batting prowess, scoring 50 runs exactly before being dismissed, helped India recover from the low of 221 for 7 to now being 358 for 9. India is still trailing by 116 runs. So Australia clearly still in the front, but it seems like the Indian team will ensure that Australia will have to bat longer than what they would have liked to force for a victory here. The third day has gotten over. Still, India has a lot more to do. We wonder how many runs India will get, but we'll come to that later. Looking back at today's play, Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja started pretty brightly for the Indians before Rishabh Pant played an extremely bad shot. I mean, some like Gavaskar would be heavily critical of him. My personal opinion is that Rishabh Pant has gotten runs in this way as well in the past. Although, if you look at his most famous test innings of 89 not out at the Gabba in 2021, I don't think he played any audacious ramp shot or anything like that. Yes, there were a few paddles behind the wicket, but then he didn't play such outrageous strokes that he played today. So yes, there would be certain people who would be critical of him. My opinion is that he has scored a lot of runs playing that kind of shot, and he is generally someone who likes to play many audacious shots. But then today he was out, and I guess if he takes the applause for scoring runs that way, he must also take the criticism that comes his way. So when he got out, India were 191 for 6. And then Ravindra Jadeja, who looked pretty decent against the faster bowlers, just couldn't read a faster one from Nathan Lyon that sort of went on straight like an arm ball, and he was dismissed, trapped LBW. Remember, Ravindra Jadeja, even in India against Lyon, has been dismissed like this, being stuck on the crease and being trapped LBW many times. So yeah, Nathan Lyon definitely does bowl well against left-handers, and so that was the case against Ravindra Jadeja as well. And then came the partnership of the day that marked India's fight back between Washington Sundar and Nitish Kumar Reddy. Both played the faster bowlers and the spinners very well. They were attacking when the balls were loose and were tight in defense as well. And slowly but surely started building a partnership that began to annoy the Aussies. They had to bring in Mitchell Marsh as well to give some rest to the other faster bowlers, and the Indian duo took to Mitchell Marsh and scored some useful runs for the Indian team. And very soon, Nitish Kumar Reddy brought up his half century. Then Washington Sundar got his half century as well. And as then there was a rain delay, and after the rain delay, it was quite a long rain delay, I must say. And when they came back, the Indians were a bit cautious against the moving ball because the clouds had come in and the ball was seaming a bit. So the run rate had dropped down significantly. But then when finally Washington Sundar was dismissed for 50, and we looked at the scorecard, India was still almost 126 runs behind. So it wasn't as if India had sort of really took into the Aussies, and it's not that the Aussies had sort of allowed India to run away with the game. And then when Jasprit Bumrah was also dismissed, it looked like Nitish Kumar Reddy was stranded on 99 not out at one point of time, would probably be stranded on that score, but that was not to be. He hit a boundary of Scott Boland straight down the ground, lifting it over mid on. And while he was on 99, and just before that, The cameras were panning out to his father, who was in the stands, praying for his son to get that much coveted century. And one must say that the kind of sacrifices that the parents make for their sons to become cricketers and get to this level was clearly showing on his father's face as well. He was almost as tense as anybody else in the ground. And the moment when when Nitish Kumar Reddy hit the boundary to get to his century, the camera panned on to his father, and he was quite rightfully in tears. And it was a very emotional moment for the Reddy family. And that sort of helped India continue with the momentum that they had gotten through that stand between Washington Sundar and Nitish Kumar Reddy. And Mohammad Siraj played his part as well, defended the balls that he had to face, and India would go on a high because of the fact that their innings is still intact. They haven't yet been dismissed. The 10th wicket partnership is still very much in there. And while one wonders how much of batting India would do tomorrow, would like to just focus a little bit more on the Aussie bowling today. Pat Cummins would be quite disappointed with the fact that they could only pick 4 wickets in the day's play. When the day started, India were 5 wickets down. The bowlers did look a bit tired. Remember, it's been a long series so far. We are into the fourth Test match, and the Aussies have had their fair share of bowling in this series. Although the Indian batting has looked fragile, but there have been occasions especially in the first Test match, the second innings, and then in Brisbane in the first innings, that India have made the Aussies work hard for the wickets. So the Aussies would definitely be slightly worried, especially with Mitchell Stark holding his back. Was looking a bit in pain at one point of time, and the fact that all the Aussie bowlers have had a fair share of bowling would be a bit of a concern for Pat Cummins, and the fact that the lead is now only about 116, which at one point of time looked very much like probably they would be somewhere in the region of 220 to 240 runs, is now just about 116. So Aussies will have to bat longer than what Pat Cummins would have ideally liked, and that would further eat into the time. Remember, there are only 2 days left. However, the weather looks set for the next 2 days. It's going to be bright. There is no forecast of rain over the next 2 days. So, unlike Brisbane, I think Aussies here will have a much better chance of enforcing a result, pushing for a victory. But the Indians would be buoyed by the fact that this last wicket partnership is still there. And even if they add about 15, 20, 25, whatever runs they can, I think it will be very, very crucial for the Indian team. Although India doesn't look like being able to force for a result on their own, unless of course there is a collapse that happens. I mean, one always can cast their mind back to 2004, 2003, in fact, at Adelaide, when Ajit Agarkar picked up 6 wickets in the second innings, when India had given up a lead of 33 runs only. Though that is the main thing, that the lead was only 33 at that point of time. But even then, a victory looked highly unlikely for the Indian team going into the third innings of the Test match. But so something like that, if India can muster. But first, it's important that India can get whatever runs they can get, even if it's 10, 15, 20. If they can get the lead down to below 100 in double digits, it would be a huge morale booster for the Indian team going into the third innings of the Test match. And then we'll have to bowl much better than what we have done in the first innings. And of course, Australia will also be pushing for runs and time, because remember, the holders are India. The Border Gavaskar Trophy is in India's hands, so it is Australia which has to win the series. So they will have to push in for a result here to ensure that they get a 2-1 lead. If it is a draw, then we'll go to Sydney 1-all. I think that'll be incredible for the Indian team. But as of now, I think India should not give up on their hopes of trying to force for a win on their own as well. So yeah, that is it. It's all set up beautifully for tomorrow, the 4 days play. And after today, the third day's play, it is still, I would say, advantage Australia, but India have given themselves a bit of a chance, and they live to fight for another day. So I will see you all tomorrow with the review of the 4 days play. Until then, take care. Bye.